Welcome to the Fiscal Forum. I'm tremendously excited to re-engage our forum as a means to connect with our end users. At Fiscal, our customers stand at the forefront of what we do, and I'm always eager to share how we are moving forward as a system and as a department. As you know, Fiscal is among the largest public sector IT systems in the world, and is one of the largest and most dynamic IT business transformation undertakings in California's history. Enormously complex by its very nature, Fiscal is a working system with 152 departments and approximately 15,000 end users, processing $363 billion in expenditures each year. The State Treasurer's Office functionality handles about $2 trillion in state government banking transactions annually. And over 120,000 vendors sell their goods and services to the state utilizing our Cal eProcure system. In July of this year, Fiscal formally closed out 7 areas of major functionality that had been deployed for more than a year. So what's left on the project side? Well, Fiscal submitted Special Project Report number 9 to the California Department of Technology in September, and CDT approved it in October. SPR 9 officially closes out all of the major sub-projects that I just mentioned and adds a 24-month schedule extension for implementing Milestone 5, Priority 1 and Priority 2 functionality, which is the State Controller's Office integrated solution. The additional time is for the SCO non-project staff to conduct more testing prior to deploying the tools and reports necessary for SCO to produce the budgetary legal basis annual report, the BILBAR, and the comprehensive annual financial report, the CAFR, utilizing the Fiscal system. During the last 18 months, Fiscal released a number of enhancements and tools to improve user experience and customer service, continually adding innovation to the system. Many of the enhancements were the direct result of interactive engagement with Fiscal end users at events like Imagine Fiscal, town halls, and the Fiscal Forum. Notably, Fiscal released Department 360, a new dashboard feature in the Fiscal PeopleSoft application that provides quick access to several tools and reports displayed in user-friendly tiles. Fiscal also rolled out a tool to automate month-end close and streamline the process. Departments can run the tool and it will systematically close their fiscal periods. In the fall of 2020, Fiscal began the release of a series of work centers by module and function, enabling users to access specific and prioritized tasks and actions in a central location. The page is role-based and configurable, offering a consolidated view of various tasks, queries, and reports for a consistent work stream. By using Microsoft Power BI and Azure Synapse Analytics, Fiscal is bringing innovation and cloud computing to state finances. Fiscal developed new commitment control dashboards and reports, as well as budget to actual reports. These new tools are part of Fiscal's effort to continue its work on expanding departments' ability to explore, analyze, and report their own insights and trends from their data. The Azure Synapse Analytics also serves as the source of data for the Power BI reports, which ensures that the data is consistent across the delivery methods. Fiscal also started deploying robotic process automation, or RPA, in a number of important tasks. RPA automates many of the more mundane, repetitive tasks that workers perform, and it does it dramatically faster. The software or bots respond to data and communicate with other systems to perform a wide variety of tasks. They do it with 100% accuracy and can run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The bots do the tedious work of transactions, iterations, and initial analysis, saving the more complex and nuanced tasks involving leading, creating, interpreting, and evaluating for people. Fiscal made the state of California significantly more transparent through the creation of Open Fiscal, the website that opened California's books to the public. The pilot site launched in September of 2018, immediately promoting accountability and better decision making. And as of July of this year, the site displays expenditure information for 150 departments that transact in the Fiscal system, updated every month, and it continues to evolve. Since its public launch, the site has added nearly 60 million rows of data from business units representing all of the departments that utilize Fiscal for accounting. Over $400 billion in expenditures have been listed on the site so far, and for those of you that like data numbers, that equals over 20 gigabytes of data. Over the past 18 months, our end users all did their part as well by participating in a variety of Fiscal events and trainings and by providing valuable feedback to help us better serve you. These events and trainings were really quite astounding. Look at the numbers that you participated in. The Fiscal trainings and events included our Fiscal user support labs, which provided users an opportunity to receive support on work assignments and just-in-time training directly from Fiscal subject matter experts. As of March of 2020, Fiscal changed these labs to virtual sessions. I'm happy to report that no one missed a beat. Over 1,300 users from 64 departments and agencies requested and attended a total of 512 user support labs. From January 2019 to July of 2020, Fiscal held 4 department change impact workshops and 2 kickoff meetings. 1,602 attendees from 141 departments and agencies attended to hear an overview of the new functionality being implemented, included changes to the Fiscal business processes, understanding new key terms, and impacts to end user roles. In August of 2019, we launched Fiscal TV. Fiscal TV offers training to departments via webcast sessions where end users can connect with Fiscal subject matter experts who help answer questions about specific topics and provide valuable tips, tricks, and information. Fiscal has provided 11 Fiscal TV sessions so far, with 2,581 attendees from 102 departments and agencies. Fiscal also offers instructor-led training, where subject matter experts provide thorough explanation of business processes and system functionality, live demonstrations, and hands-on exercises. Fiscal held 45 instructor-led training sessions. 511 users participated from 64 departments and agencies. And our Fiscal town hall meetings provide key information about upcoming or recent releases related to the STO and SCO integrated solution, and typically include overviews, live demonstrations, and extensive question and answer opportunities. Fiscal has hosted 21 town hall meetings with over 6,000 attendees from 143 departments and agencies. And finally, our user community forums, which are open to all end users and provide an opportunity for you to hear from and engage with Fiscal leaders and subject matter experts on timely and relevant topics. Fiscal held 3 user community forums where there were 694 users from 142 departments and agencies in attendance. And we look forward to hearing from you today. With that said, I would like to thank you, our end users, for your support and engagement in our interactive events, and hope that you will continue to give us feedback and ideas for improving the system. Because when you are successful, Fiscal is successful. Thank you so much, and I'd like to pass this off to Jim Caselli.
Thank you very much, Miriam. We'd like to welcome everybody to the forum today, and let's go over what we're going to be going over today with you. First, we will have Mary Snovel. She'll be here to present a PO Work Center demo and a Cal PIA Punch-Out demo. Maureen Riley will give us some FSC updates, and we'll have a question and answer session with our partner business executives. And I'd like to welcome Mary Snovel to the Fiscal Forum. Mary has been with Fiscal for 12 years and is the DGS Fiscal Procurement Lead. Again, she's here to talk about the PO Work Center and the Cal PIA Punch-Out. Before we get to Mary, I'd like to let you know that if you have any questions during her presentation, to please go ahead and send those in. And of course, we will get to those questions as they do come in. And as always, if we can't provide you with an answer, we will get that to you after the show. So Mary, welcome to the Fiscal Forum.
Thank you, Jim. Hi, everybody. It's good to be here and talk to you today about our Purchase Order Work Center. So we hope that you all received the communication that was sent out last week where we announced that we have this new functionality called the PO Work Center. We also hope that you received and have reviewed the Job Aid 446, which is the steps on how to use the PO Work Center. The PO Work Center, what we'd like to call it, is kind of a one-stop shop where you're getting all PO information, either as a buyer or as a department. So if you currently have access to purchase orders, you should also have access to the PO Work Center. But it is based on roles, and the access you have will be based on the roles that you have. What we have for you today is a video where we want to go through some of the very important key aspects of the Purchase Order Work Center and also note some very new pages that we've created that we think will be very helpful to departments, especially approvers. Megan Harrington, our PO SME, created this video, and we'd like to
access the PO Work Center, first log into Fiscal. On the Fiscal homepage, select My Work Centers. Access to the PO Work Center is determined by your existing roles and access in Fiscal. Click the PO Work Center. The landing page of the PO Work Center is the dashboard, which displays various graphs of pertinent information on the buyer, transactions. You can also enter different fiscal years to see your data from alternate years. The Work Center is broken up into 4 areas: My Work, Links, Queries, and Reports and Processes. Each of these are broken up into specific pages. My Work begins with pending activities. Your active and pending POs will be found on one of these pages so long as it is not closed, complete, or fully paid. If the page is grayed out, you do not have any POs that fall into that category, and the number adjacent to the page name indicates how many POs meet that criteria. Searching through the Work Center is the same. There are basic search and advanced search options. For example, you can search by acquisition type by using the lookup prompt. This page is displaying approved but not dispatched POs that have the acquisition type of IT goods that you have created. You can see which POs have an encumbrance balance, and here's the acquisition type of IT goods. Searching in the Work Center is through keyword, and when you search for IT goods, non-IT goods will also appear. You can also search by line description keyword, and the system will look for any PO that has a line description of the word, for my example, work, and search, and that PO will appear. And there's one PO with the line item description of work. You may also select the PO ID. And depending on your access to the PO page, you may have edit or just review access. And here you are, you can see that the PO line description has the word work in it. And you can close the tab to return to the PO Work Center. You can also download your search results to Excel by clicking here. Buyer alerts include your POs that were placed on hold or are modified by another buyer or have not been approved within 5 days. Those are called escalation notices. Select the PO ID to be taken to the Maintain PO page on another tab for this PO that has been on hold. From there, you can remove the PO from hold status and save the page. Close your tab and return to the Work Center. And on refresh, the PO that was previously on hold will no longer appear as an on-hold PO. Department pending activities include all your department POs that have a budget error, unreconciled P-card POs, CalPIA POs, and requisitions that have lines that have yet to be sourced to a PO. Under links, you can navigate to any of the existing PO pages to create, access, or update POs. These are the typical pages that you would normally access through the main menu navigation. FISCAL did introduce 3 new pages under links, the PO section. Those pages are View Current Approvers, Change Order History, and the Manage PO page. The View Current Approvers will display the approval path of all POs through dispatch status. It includes the approver name, date and time of approval, and the number of days it took for that approver to approve the PO. To search for approval historical data, select the appropriate PO status, for example, complete, and filter out other search options and click search, and all previously complete POs and the appropriate approvers will appear. The change order history page displays all your POs through dispatch status in which a change order has been performed. The search outputs include any of the most recent changes, who made the update, the reason code, and the date and time of the change. To view more information about this change, click on the PO ID. The View Approvals page will display, and the Review Change Order Details section will provide you the reason code, the line number affected by the change, what field was changed, the original value, and the new value. So for this PO, the original value of line 1 was $500, but was increased to $610. The Manage PO page displays all your POs through dispatch in one central area. The output also includes budget status. You can search for other buyers by simply selecting the lookup prompt, and all of the PO buyers for your department will display for you to search. In the remaining link sections, we have the suppliers and bidders, which is a central location to search for certification and supplier information. While important links includes access to other Fiscal pages, but also external websites for quick reference. If you need access to training, you can access job aids or the help links here. There is also a Department Work Center dashboard, which displays the same information as the buyer dashboard, but for your entire department. Under queries, you can quickly access and run the most popular queries. The same is for reports, purchase order reports. And that concludes the presentation on the PO Work Center. If you have any other questions, please feel free to review jobaidfiscal.466 for more information and training.
Okay, thank you very much for that. We do want to remind you that the PO for the Work Center, the job aid for the PO Work Center is Fiscal point 466. And Mary, we have a question here. Are you ready to take one?
Yes, please.
Okay, the question is, can you work on a PO as normal when you access it from the PO Work Center?
Yes, the pages are there. So as we, kind of like to call it that one-stop shop. So all of your normal navigation, so your add update page, review PO information, all of that is available through there. And then if you are clicking on the links, when you're searching and clicking on the links and it takes you to the PO, you should be able to have the access and edit rights that you normally would when navigating today.
Okay, thanks for that. That's the only question we have so far. I understand that you have some questions that you've come up with too, and that are frequently asked that you're going to take us through. Is that correct?
Well, I'm not quite sure, Jim. Actually, I think that's for the CalPIA, which is the next presentation.
Oh, okay. I apologize for that. Okay, well, that seems to be all the questions we have so far. Just a reminder, if you do have any questions, feel free to send them in. So, okay, let's move along to the PIA punch-out.
Yes, the CalPIA punch-out. So let's talk about that. That was functionality that was released in July and is now mandatory for Fiscal departments when purchasing standard goods from CalPIA. So we'd like to take some time to remind departments as well that the policy related to CalPIA purchases is in the State Contracting Manual Fiscal, and there's also additional information within CalPIA itself. We are going to walk through some steps for you today of the actual punch out and answer some common questions that have come up since we released the functionality. I'd also like to state that, when purchasing CalPIA standard goods, what you're going to do today now with this punch out functionality is directly access the CalPIA website and the store through the Fiscal requisition. So what we have on the screen for you right now is the main page where they navigate. It's e-procurement requisitions, and you're going to click on the web link. So once you click on it in that red box, once you click on that web link, it will open the next page, which will take you to the website. So once you click on the website link, that takes you directly to the CalPIA store, where you would do your shopping normally for CalPIA standard goods. So we're just showing you a sample of what we would purchase. We're going to go ahead and browse furniture, click on the browse button, and then it's going to open the furniture that's available. Today we're going to select a chair. So we're going to click on seating. That's going to open up the next screen for us, and a chair. So we're going to pick this first chair here that we see, the Atherton counter height chair. We're going to click learn more, and that will bring up the details about the chair. Now, once you get into the CalPIA website, it's exactly as you see it today, even if you weren't in Fiscal, because this is directly in their site. So none of this should be new to people making requisitions or purchasing from CalPIA today. So I'm going to select the black chair. I only want one. As you notice, the set in place fee is selected, and I'm going to add that to my cart. So I'm going to click on the add cart button. And once I do that, you notice at the top, now I have an item in my cart. I want to continue shopping. So you see the link, again, it's in that red box, continue to shopping cart. I'm going to click on that, and it's going to open up my shopping cart. I want to review all of this information, make sure it's exactly what I want. If not, I would delete, or I'd go back, cancel the transaction, and add more information. It's what I wanted today, so I'm going to go ahead and hit the submit button at the bottom right. And once I do that, it takes me right back into Fiscal, into my Fiscal requisition, and it populates all of the information for me. You will notice that at the top, the acquisition method is defaulted to the acquisition method that should be used for CalPIA, and that is exempt, I think, exempt by law, and it says prison industry authorities. It will always be defaulted to that, and you cannot change it. Then my line items are correct. They're exactly as they displayed in the CalPIA web store. I'm going to go ahead and add my buyer, which is a new field for CalPIA only, where buyer is required. And the reason why it's required is because the POs are now, or the requisitions that are sourced to CalPIA that have CalPIA as the supplier on the line and that are approved and budget checked successfully will be automatically picked up on a nightly batch process and sourced to a purchase order. So the buyer needs to be notified that these are purchase orders are available and ready for them to process forward. So in the requisition, the buyer field for CalPIA is required. So we're going to go ahead and select a buyer in this field. We would click on the lookup glass, and the buyers would be by BU. For your BU, you would select the buyer for this PO. And then move on to the next screen. If there's two different ways to select a buyer on a requisition. One is at that line level, like we just showed you. That would be if you have a different buyer for each line. If you don't, and it's the same buyer, you would go into your requisition settings and go ahead and select the buyer at the requisition setting, and that would display the same buyer for the entire PO. You would hit OK. Again, OK again. This is just common information in the rec settings. And then another thing that CalPIA is doing with this requisition punch out is their quotes. So they're honoring their quotes for 90 days from the time that you punch out. And so you will get this to let you know that that quote is available for 90 days, and you will hit OK. What happens now is again, once it gets through the normal process, so the rec processor still has to do all of the other required fields as they normally would. on a requisition, they would budget check it, submit it for approval, and once it gets submitted for approval and it's approved, the requisition with CalPIA will, or the lines will be picked up and sourced to the PO, and the buyer will be notified that the POs are ready to be sourced forward. So once those POs are sourced forward and the buyer has done everything they needed to do on the PO to get it approved, budget checked, and in dispatch status, so it's a manual dispatch as well, then CalPIA gets automatically emailed, okay? And then the PDF PO. Let's go through some of the common questions that CalPIA or Fiscal has received since releasing the CalPIA punch-out functionality. Is the new CalPIA punch-out functionality mandatory? Yes, as of December 15th, departments transacting in Fiscal are required to purchase from CalPIA for their standard products using the Fiscal requisition process. Okay, there is a DGS broadcast bulletin. The number is F0420 on this requirement. So please refer to that DGS broadcast bulletin or contact DGS Procurement Division if you have questions about that broadcast bulletin and the requirement. Do I still have to send a PO to CalPIA? No, you don't, because as I mentioned, CalPIA is going to automatically get an email with the PDF version, the dispatch version of the PO once the buyer dispatches it. The buyer still does have to dispatch it, okay? All POs with CalPIA as a supplier will be automatically emailed. Please do not send duplicate POs to CalPIA. That has been an issue. For CalPIA, they have been getting duplicate POs, but please do not send duplicates. Another thing is that previously departments were required to send a copy of the PO with a chart of accounts to CalPIA, but that is no longer a requirement because Fiscal is now sending CalPIA a report of that information on a daily basis. So it's just one PO sent to CalPIA, and that is done by Fiscal. Departments do not have to do anything with that anymore. Do buyers get a copy of the PO that is dispatched to CalPIA? Yes, it was just recently added. It's a new process where buyers will also get an email with that PDF dispatched PO. Again, please do not redispatch POs that have already been dispatched because those will be sent in duplicate to CalPIA. How do I ensure duplicate POs are not sent to CalPIA? The best way to ensure there are no duplicates is by dispatching using the button on the Maintain Purchase Order page. There's a screenshot of it there for you. That is where buyers should be dispatching their POs. There's another way to dispatch a PO, which is through the Maintain the dispatch PO process. When you're using that navigation to dispatch in mass quantity using a date range or a PO ID range, it does cause duplicates to CalPIA if those POs have been dispatched prior. So therefore, this dispatch option should only be used if buyers are not using the dispatch button on the Maintain Purchase Order page. It is a buyer's responsibility to ensure POs have not been previously dispatched. How do I send attachments to CalPIA? This functionality has not changed. Buyers should be including all attachments pertaining to the CalPIA PO by using the comments and attachment link on the PO header or line and marking Send to Supplier. So the example screenshot that we provided here is showing you how to do that at the PO header. So you would click on the Add Comment and Attachment hyperlink, and then you would click Send to Supplier, check that box, and then do your attachment. And once that is done, and once you hit Dispatch, CalPIA will be getting all of your attachments. What roles are required to use the CalPIA punch-out, and is there a Fiscal job aid? Information on the Fiscal roles required and training on the new process are available in the recently posted Fiscal job aid 449, Generate a Fiscal Purchase Requisition for CalPIA Standard Goods. So that does conclude our CalPIA punch-out presentation, the steps through the punch-out process, and then all of the questions that we have received that we felt we should be answering today for you.
Okay, Mary, it looks like we have a question going back to the PO Work Center. The question is, I believe I heard that Work Center is based on roles. Does that mean the requisition processors cannot see this?
Actually, if the requisition processors, if that's the only role they have and no other roles, then it is possible that they cannot see the Work Center. I honestly would have to ask that question because I don't know if they actually do or not.
That's something we will certainly take care of and get that question answered. Here's another one. Maybe you can answer it. And if not, as always, we'll get the answer for you. It says, it appears there are a number of work centers being developed. Are there plans for procurement contracts or e-procurement work centers?
Yes, that's a great question. We are currently working on several work centers, as mentioned. The purchase order, the approval work center was actually the first for all modules and including purchasing. The next one is the purchase order. That was our first. And then we're moving into requisitions, contracts, events. So all of those will be covered next. And then eventually, you know, anything else will be down the line. But those are the ones that we do have planned right now. So hopefully those will all be helpful to you.
Okay, Mary, that looks like about that's all the questions we have right now. So once again, I'd like to thank you for being with us today. I'd also like to remind everybody that the PO Work Center job aid is Fiscal 466, and for the PIA punch out, it's Fiscal 449. Mary, thanks again for being with us. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
Okay, next up is Maureen Riley from the Fiscal Service Center. She's going to take us through some updates with the FSC. Welcome, Maureen. How are you today?
Good afternoon, Jim. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I'll be reviewing some FSC information for you. Those include ticket stabilization, information on our Amazon Connect soft phones, forgot my password and secondary user ID tips and tricks, and then information on innovations to ServiceNow. So our first topic on ticket stabilization, I'm very pleased to report, you know, back in 2018, this is a graph from 2018 to 2020, we onboarded our final Fiscal departments, and you can see there was quite a spike in tickets on the blue line there in 2018. Which the trend, once we got into 2019, slowly trended downwards. And then this year, 2020, I'm pleased to report that ticket stabilization is occurring. So we are resolving more tickets than we're creating on a regular basis. Now we still have some spikes or impacts, and we will be addressing those as they occur based on new functionality. So Amazon Connect soft phones, when we had to work remotely in March, customers calling the Fiscal Service Center and Fiscal for Cali Procure support were required to leave voicemails. It was an arduous process. Our L1s then had to retrieve those voicemails and document the information and the issues, log it in, call them back, and log that time called. And the metrics and management overview was tedious and lengthy and cumbersome. So we worked with our ITD department in a fairly quick time frame to procure Amazon Connect soft phones, which is a cloud-based software that allows our analysts to receive your calls directly through their computer. So if it's within working hours and an analyst is available when you call us, you'll be connected immediately with a live agent. So with that, also outside of business hours, we have the voicemails. And just as we always have, you call and leave a voicemail or even hang up, you're going to receive a return call from the FSC. So the FSC continues to procure solutions and look for innovations and opportunities to improve the user experience. So we're thrilled with the Amazon Connect soft phones, and I hope that the customers are appreciative of that improvement in our service delivery. So a couple of the tips and tricks that don't go away over the years, but we do have new users onboarding on an ongoing basis. And I really want to stress, we are all about self-help. Not that we aren't here to support you, but when we aren't, we want you to be self-sufficient. So in the area of forgot my password, unless you are disabled, if you've entered your password incorrectly several times and locked yourself out, once you enter your user ID, it will link for forgot my password will be below that. You click on that and the application, the system's going to send you a one-time code, one-time passcode. And by entering that, you're then able to update your password and get you back in business. So outside of business hours or even during business hours, that functionality is available to you and saves the time of sending in a request so you can help yourself quickly to re-access the system. Secondary user IDs. We recently sent out an article in one of the newsletters because for some time now we've been creating secondary user IDs primarily for separation of duties. You have an accounting role and you can't have that with the other roles, the separation of duties. Now the email linked to that account needs to be connected to an email domain. It needs to be an actual email because ISO sends out warning letters, alerts for those people that have not logged into the system for 90 days. And then that's a warning letter before they actually disable the account. And if the secondary user ID is not connected to a live email, you won't receive those notifications. You also won't be able to reset your secondary user ID like I mentioned in the forgot your password process. So a lot of people already have secondary user IDs that were created some time ago. I would encourage you to work with your ITD department to ensure that that's an active working email. ServiceNow tools and innovations. We continue to upgrade. We've got a Paris upgrade pending probably in the new year, first quarter of the new year, if not before. We've got a lot of innovations that are in the works. So I mentioned the self-service portal. The self-service portal is your way of being self-sufficient. So we have ticket requests coming in by email that are processed on first in, first out. The self-service portal, when you log in there, you're able to check on existing tickets, and you can actually add a note to an existing ticket that'll go to the assigned analyst that's working your issue to resolution. You can check on job aids and knowledge, and pretty much it's your one-stop shop. As Mary alluded to, we try and find these places where you don't have to navigate to multiple places to complete a variety of tasks. So the self-service portal, again, when that we're working on innovations, some machine learning. So those tickets that are submitted from the self-service portal go into a queue where they're quickly assigned. So there's no delay. Again, like I said, the email in will process your delay timely, but it's not as streamlined as if you had gone to the self-service portal. So I can't stress that enough. Try and encourage you to use that functionality in submitting your own tickets, because down the line, hopefully in the near future, we'll be letting you know about some machine learning where it assigns those tickets automatically. And therefore, once again, time is of the essence. And we'll be able to get you back in business and get those issues resolved in a timelier fashion. Departmental dashboards, and I think we've got a screenshot coming up. these are available. Normally, when you have access to ServiceNow, you're only able to see your own individual tickets. And there's a need to monitor department tickets, the full department tickets. So these departmental dashboards are available by an authority's request, and we can provision staff, and it provides the ability to drill down on all the tickets in your department to monitor them and make sure that they're being processed timely. FIS chat functionality, and I want to invite everyone that's out there, if you're interested, we are in process with a pilot where there's a FIS chat functionality, and we are looking to add some more departments to test this new functionality. So when you access the self-service portal, and let's go to the next screen, please. At the lower right will be where you initiate chat. So FIS chat, again, if you're self-sufficient, you can create a ticket from the ServiceNow portal, access your knowledge network here. But if you want some further assistance, you can engage the ServiceNow chat feature, and by that little icon in the lower right. And then you can type in your specific issue or question, and then you can escalate it up to an L1 chat if necessary. And again, you have the functionality to create a ticket from here. It's a little bit longer, but if you need a little bit more assistance, our FIS chat functionality is there to assist you. And again, if you're a department that's interested in piloting this new functionality, we'd love to hear from you. So email a Fiscal Service Center at fiscal.ca.gov. Another screenshot of our ServiceNow departmental dashboard. Again, it will display various tickets in various statuses, and these are drilled down. So if you double click on them on the reports, you can dive into the actual tickets. And again, that would be requested by emailing the Fiscal Service Center by a DAD. So tips and tricks. We're always wanting to remind you, you encounter an issue, who's your go-to person in the office? Who's the super user? Try and resolve it on your own first. So many of our tickets are business process how-to questions. So start with your super user. Make sure you've cleared your cache and cookies, because that's frequently the cause of some of the issues we encounter. Remember the job aids. You can check them. Perhaps you're missing one of the steps in the process. And then use ServiceNow. Really strongly encourage you to use the self-service portal to submit your tickets, check on tickets, and so forth. And please remember, when you're submitting ticket requests, provide as much information and details as you can. This will shorten the time frame where the analyst has to reach out and ask you for particular information. So make sure you're providing the screenshots, your navigation path, the profile you're using, your user ID, what application you're in. Are you in Hyperion or PeopleSoft? As much information as you can, the BU, and if it's PO or voucher related, the number of the PO or voucher. So, and if you have sensitive information, make sure you redact it before sending it in and attaching it. If you need help with that, contact the FSC. So we also have WebEx for those of you that want to review your issue with an agent. That's available as well. So as I mentioned, the Fiscal Service Center, our mission is excellent customer service, and we continue to innovate to make your life, everyday life, and the processes you're doing simpler. So, Jim, do we have any questions?
Yes, we do, Maureen.
Great.
First one, how does the Amazon soft phone work?
So that's a good question, and I just know it links up and connects. Now, ITD did all the installation. It was relatively seamless, so I believe it was like a download, and we have dashboards, and I'm glad they asked about that, because I didn't dive in deeper on the Amazon Connect. It gives us detailed stats. We have different statuses the agents put themselves in. They're not always available. They're working on L1.5 tickets, resolving your tickets, and other reports and metrics that we do. So it provides these different metrics. We can see how long, the average call length, how many calls we're getting on a daily basis, and management is able to review it. If you need more detail, we'll see if we can't get a little bit more technical response to that question. But it was seamless. We have run into very little challenges, and I highly, very pleased with the application.
Okay, next question. Is the departmental dashboard currently available?
Yes. Oops. Yes, the departmental dashboards are available. They have been for some time. So as I mentioned, if you're interested in access, you'll need one of your approved authorities to submit an email or have it attached in your self-service ticket, and we will provision access to the departmental dashboards for those particular staff you identify.
Okay, Maureen, it looks like we have one more here. Does ServiceNow chat functionality assign a case number for a ticket?
Another great question. Yes, so just as if you're submitting it from the self-service portal, the chat functionality is going to capture the relevant information and will provide a case number to you in the chat frames as they come up. So once that ticket's created, yes, it'll appear in your self-service portal, and it will appear in the chat session as well.
Okay, Maureen, that looks like all the questions we have today. Thank you so much for being with us. It's always great to hear from you, and a lot of good information today. Appreciate it very much. Thank you. Okay, now it's time for our question and answer session with our partner business executives. With us today are Kathy Liao from SCO, Sheila Tobias Daniel from STO, Lorna Briscoe from DGS, and Jeff Carasone from DOF. And first of all, Lorna, we'd like to thank DGS for all the updates and for Mary presenting the PO Work Center and the Cal PIA Punchout. We always appreciate DGS's support. And it's time to talk with Jeff Carasone. Jeff, what can you tell us about the world of MEC-YEC?
Thanks, Jim. Hi, everyone. My name is Jeff Carasone, and I'm the Department of Finance Partner Business Executive on the Fiscal project. Just wanted to talk about a couple of things having to do with MEC-YEC, as Jim had mentioned. For those of you that have submitted your year-end financial statements for 1920, congratulations, and I wanted to thank you. For those of you that haven't, please continue to submit those on a flow basis. As a reminder, we have finance FISCU analysts available to assist you with MEC-YEC activities, and also if you have any tickets you need escalated, they're available to do that as well. Again, for those of you that have not yet submitted your financial statements, I wanted to let you know that we do have Saturday support on November 7th, this coming Saturday, and November 21st. On those days of Saturday support from 8 to 2, you'll have finance, fiscal, and SEO representatives available to help you with ticket resolution and other activities. I'd encourage you to please take advantage of that support, as the year-end activities that you are performing also have budgetary implications. As you know, the Department of Finance is building the governor's budget for 21-22, and completing the year-end activities helps with the past year actual information of the galley. Another reminder, we'd like you to please keep the dashboard current. This dashboard is ever evolving, as you know. One of the recent additions to the dashboard was the reconciliation by fund page. This allows you to identify which funds you've reconciled and closed by period. We're constantly trying to tweak the dashboard to increase the end user experience. If you have any suggestions on how the dashboard can be better, please reach out to your relations coordinator. Now, the dashboard allows Fiscal as well as partner agencies to access the status and information to minimize the amount of outreach we have to do to your departments. Now, in terms of year-end close for next year, Finance is going to be offering training opportunities for 2020-21 close. Most likely the training will be offered online, but we'll have to see about that as it comes. And we'll also have e-learning items on the website for you to access. If you want to access our website, we're going to have e-learning documents available as well. Now, the types of training that Finance offers, we offer overview training. This will start in January. We're going to be offering the overview training twice a month, every month, except for May, June, and July. This training will cover transactions and modules. We're also going to be having month-end close training in February and March. And we plan to increase the number of classes from previous years from 8 to 9, and also increasing the number of students per class to get more people trained. We expect to have 2 sessions again, session 1 and session 2. And the MEC training will cover month-end close activities, cash, ORF, bank reconciliation, PFAs, and SEO agency reconciliation as well. After the month-end training, we're going to have year-end training in April and May. Again, we plan to increase the number of classes offered from 7 to 8, and also increasing the number of students per class. We're also going to have 2 sessions of year-end training, and those will cover year-end planning and accrual entries. So those are my MECYEC updates for the forum. Back to you, Jim.
Thank you, Jeff, for that information. We'd like to also remind you that if you have any questions for Kathy, Sheila, Lorna, or Jeff, please send those in now and address your question to the individual that you would like to answer your question. So now we're going to move along to Sheila Tobias Daniel of STO. Sheila, what's new in the world of STO?
Good afternoon, Jim. Thank you for having us today. As you all know, STO went live with its Treasury Control functionality in October of 2018. But a few of you may not know that about a year later, we began rolling out the deposit slip functionality statewide. Now, what that means is that even deferred and exempt departments now use Fiscal to generate and print deposit slips. Now, this has allowed STO to turn off the electronic deposit form legacy system, otherwise known as EDF. We're pretty excited about that, just totally embracing the concept of one state, one system. Back to you, Jim.
Thank you, Sheila. Now we have Kathy Liao from SCO. Kathy, any new functionality or processes that you would like to share with us today?
Good afternoon, Jim and everyone else out there. Yes, I did want to talk about a couple things that have gone live since July 1st. And first I want to talk about the CV-CVAC activation plan. So cash validation and cash validation appropriation control went live in July, and we are phasing in departments to the control, which would do the NSF, the non-sufficient funds stop. So we do have a plan for the phased approach. In early August, we went live with 7 departments. We just turned on 18 more, and we'll be releasing these departments from now until through the month of February. And so each group, we will be going live with them, reviewing their funds and their appropriations. And if there's an exception, we would leave it with track with. However, in most cases, most appropriations will be turned on to control with this release. So your department is on this list, and you can see when you will go live with your appropriation control for this functionality. The other item we went live with in September was the PFA interface for fiscal year 20/21. We will be sending out a survey to departments to see how the using this PFA interface functionality is going for them, if there's any updates we need to make to job aids, things like that. So we'll be reaching out to the PFA departments to see how this functionality is working for them, or if there's any enhancements we need to make. That's all I have, Jim.
Okay, Kathy, thank you very much. Looking to see if we have any questions. We don't. Oh, here we go. Is there any advancement on changing the supplier ID on a PO with a change order? That looks like that's going to go back to Mary, I believe. Mary, are you still with us?
Hi there, I am. Thank you, Jim. So that's a good question. Is there any advancement on changing the supplier ID on a PO with a change order? Actually, not on the purchase order, but we are currently working on the ability to change the supplier on a contract. We're going to see how that goes first, because it is delivered functionality that we have to consider with the system, and then we will look into and work with DGS on the ability to change it on the purchase order. There really aren't many instances where the supplier should be changed once it's been dispatched. So there are legal things that have to be considered, and policy and rules and laws and all of that have to be considered, and why it currently isn't available. Those are some of the reasons why. I did want to also follow real quick. I'm sorry, Jim.
No,
I did want to I did want to follow up on the other question that we had regarding the requisition processor and whether or not they would have access to the purchase order work center. And the answer is, if they just have the requisition roles, then no, they wouldn't have access to the actual purchase order work center. They will have access to the requisition work center, which will be released very soon.
Okay. Thank you, Mary. Appreciate that. And it looks like that's all the questions we have today. I'd like to remind you that if you do have any questions for any of our guests, you can always send those to your relations coordinator, and they will make sure that they get to the right person and get the answer back to you. So we'd like to thank all of our guests today. We'd like to thank you for joining us. I'd like to remind you that a copy of this presentation will be uploaded to our YouTube channel within the next couple of days. You can always see it there. And once again, we'd like to remind you that Fiscal TV happens every month. Make sure and tune into that. And thanks again for joining us today for the Fiscal Forum. I'm Jim Caselli. Have a great afternoon.